Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And then it does it a couple more times, and then it goes doo-doo, 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 do-do, bum 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 bum, do-do-do-do, bum 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 bum, do-do-do, bum 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 bum, do-do-do-do, bum 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 bum, ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da 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 Okay. Hey everybody.
Hello there.
So, hope you. I'll stop there. How's it going? Welcome back to Live at the Cantina. I hope you enjoyed that my theme song there. I might clip that and post it to TikTok, honestly, because I don't know. I feel like that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think the whole neighborhood knows we're podcasting now.
Yeah. I think that was loud enough to get anybody's attention nearby. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Live at the Cantina. If you're new here, my name is Kevin.
I'm Noah.
We have been Star Wars fans since we were like 6 years old. Yep. Suddenly Star Wars is real for you? Some of us live it. I have been a Star Wars fan since I was 6 years old. If you know where that's from, you're a real one. But this is our Star Wars podcast, Live at the Cantina, where we talk any and all things Star Wars. Thanks for tuning in. If you're here, you're probably from TikTok. So thank you for checking out my TikTok page and making your way to the podcast. You know, I really appreciate everybody that comes and listens to us ramble on about Star Wars. So, you know, I definitely I just think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So anyway, we haven't podcasted in it's been at least over a month, I would say.
Probably.
It's been a while. But it wasn't that long ago.
But it has been a minute.
But it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
The last episode we talked about the importance of Rey Skywalker, and that was kind of the first episode of our new series that we'll get back to eventually, where we deep dive into different characters. But today's matter of discussion is there's a new Star Wars TV show out right now. You might have heard of it. It's called The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually.
Oh, well then I don't know how we're supposed to talk about it then. Anyway, that'll do it, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.
I'm kidding. So there's 3 episodes out so far, and it's just been so good that I couldn't not talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna cover it.
Yeah,
you know, clearly at some point.
Yeah. But before we get into that, how are things?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
You know, I've just been living the dream.
Living the dream.
You know, school, my 2 online classes I'm taking right now are just a pain in the butt, and you know, the 2 jobs. I thought the golf course job would be winding down, but the weather's been kind of nice lately, and I'm like, it's the middle of November. Why is the weather nice? But today it's 40 mile per hour winds and rainy, so hopefully that kind of slows down the golf course operations there. But the TV job, for those of you who don't know, I work at my local television studio. It's great, you know, having fun, making money. Making money to spend on Star Wars
your Star Wars action figures.
Which, actually, that's a good segue, because another thing, too, since the last podcast, we both turned 21.
Yeah.
We are of legal age to drink in the United States now.
Official adults now.
Yeah, basically. There's nothing else to get excited about birthday-wise. This was the last thing, you know?
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
We have to go out to the pub.
Out to the pub.
Grab a brewski eventually. But I was gonna do this before we started recording, but I figured why not do it on the podcast, because it would be a good segue into something else I want to get into. So Happy birthday. Before I give this to you, I want to preface this by saying I wanted to get you the new Han Solo Endor Black Series figure, but I could not find it. And if you don't order the new figures within 30 seconds of the time they go online, you're not getting them. So I got you the next best one. I think you might have liked, which I'll just give it to you, and then I'll talk about it.
All right,
I'll talk about it later.
Let's open this.
A live birthday gift on the podcast.
So my birthday was just a little bit ago. That's why he's giving me this.
It's a little bit belated, but.
Yeah, well, that's all right, though. All right, let's check it out. I'm excited. It's clearly already something Star Wars.
Of course.
Clearly. Ooh, there we go.
Which,
nice.
For audio listeners, it is the Star Wars Black Series Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary Darth Vader figure on the card back.
Fresh.
I have the one, but I have the same figure, but I got the one that came in the box. It's from what I've heard, I've only got that Darth Vader figure. But from what I've heard, it's the best Black Series Vader figure to date.
Really?
So that's exciting.
Yeah, I love this because I want one Darth Vader. I don't have one. That was like one of them I really wanted.
Yeah.
Besides Han Solo's, clearly.
Right.
So yeah, thank you.
You can post it next to your Boba.
Yeah.
That's a good duo right there. But so with the Black Series figure, I need to get into something real quick. Something that's been bothering me lately.
Oh no.
Hasbro.
Obviously,
Hasbro is the manufacturer of these Black Series figures. The other day, I ordered the Camino Clone Trooper Black Series figure because it came back in stock on Amazon. And when I received it in the mail, it looked horrible. The head, the visor on the head is literally it's the helmet is warped, so it's half the head is curved and messed up and doesn't look right, and that's because Hasbro, for whatever reason, decided to put an unpainted clone head under the helmet. They did do this for the clone troopers, and they do it for the new stormtroopers. But for whatever reason, they don't make it so you can take it off. So the temperature literally messes up the helmet because there's that head underneath.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, first of all, if you're gonna put a head underneath a figure, why not paint it? Yeah. Why just have an unpainted head? Second of all, why are you gluing it to the helmet so that you can't get it off? Because that causes the warping or whatever.
Yeah.
And third, and most importantly, how is this getting past your quality control team? Literally, and I'm not the only one that's complaining about this. Excuse me. A lot of people and a lot of other collectors are complaining about the same thing.
Yeah, I saw one of the things with the Ahsoka troopers where like the paint was like had the one spot on this side of the helmet, but the other spot was just nothing there.
And I've seen ones where the marking, the paint for the mouth part on the helmet doesn't even match up. I've seen just completely tilted and crooked visors, and it's not just the clone troopers, it's the stormtroopers too. And it's an embarrassment. And Hasbro really needs to get their stuff together. And I know there's no executives from Hasbro listening to this, but if there were, I would say fix your problems because it's driving your consumer base crazy. It's infuriating. We're not happy, even though we're still gonna give you money for all the figures released. So technically, I guess we are the problem. But that's beyond the point. But they did just announce they got Hunter and Crosshair from the Bad Batch. They're gonna come out with Wrecker too, and they announced Asajj Ventress too.
I saw that.
That's a cool one. Probably won't pick up any of those, but yeah, just. I've been after the last wave of the Black Series. They had the normal Phase 1 Clone Trooper. I really want that one, but the problem is the distribution of these figures is horrendous. You can't find them anywhere.
Yeah,
they're not in stores. Stores don't stock the shelves like they used to, and you can't get them online either because if you're literally not there within 30 seconds of by the time they go online, they're going to be sold out. Literally, it happens with every single release they do. They say, okay, 4:00. Hasbro Pulse. It's going to be on live. It's going to go online at 4:00. So you're ready at 4:00. And even if you're there, sometimes you can't even get through the checkout because they sell out instantly. And it's an embarrassment. And as a collector, it's frustrating and it's just, it makes it less fun. Collecting's obviously supposed to be this fun hobby and everything, but it's just, it's not when your company can't manage themselves. And it's just, Hasbro, if you're listening, fix your problems, or we're gonna throw hands. I'm gonna throw hands.
Yeah.
But it was funny too, and there was another funny thing about that is the the new episode of Rex and Around show that came out yesterday, Michael literally was trying to order the new figures live on the podcast, and he couldn't get them because they sold out instantly. And just that was, which is kind of why I wanted to bring this up today, is because we share that similar frustration. And obviously, he's a much bigger collector than I am, but I still like these figures, and I collect the ones I want and everything. But it's frustrating, and it's honestly, it's making me mad.
Yeah, because I mean, like, clearly not with figures, but I've been trying to get the PS5, as you know.
That too.
And the PS5 just got released on Thursday, and literally, like, Walmart had it up, like, all day. They'd be like, all right, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and they're sold out within 2 minutes.
Literally, there was that one night where they said 9 o'clock. All of our friend group was ready to go at 9 o'clock on Walmart.com. 30 seconds later, you can't even make it through the checkout because they're sold out.
And like, even if, like, every time I can get into the checkout, I get to the place where it says place your order, and just spam over and over again, but they're already out of stock. So, but I mean, like, some people do get in through it though, even when they're out of stock. They're like, oh, look, I still got my order in, but it's ridiculous.
Consumerism in 2020 is infuriating.
It's bad.
It's horrible.
I can't believe how bad it is with the figures too. That's ridiculous. It's horrendous.
And I'm pretty sure it's just the Black Series figures too, or at least the quality control or everything. And because if you look at other figures on the market, like the Marvel Legends or the G.I. Joe figures, you're paying that same $20 price point, but you're getting accessories, and it's coming with different head sculpts and different hands and stuff. But with the Black Series, you're paying $20. You get one figure and one accessory, really.
Yeah.
And it's just compared to other action figure lines that there are, the Black Series is almost an embarrassment. But suckers like me who only like Star Wars, I mean, I'm not going to buy any other action figures. I don't want the Star Wars ones. And it's crazy though. But I will say the shelf does look pretty nice though.
It does look nice.
I've over the course of these past few months, I've accumulated at least over 40 figures on this shelf. But I do like the new clone body. It's just the head sculpt, because it got warped. It looks horrible. But I got him right there. You can't see it on camera, but he's standing right behind Commander Wolf. I put him in an action pose, which I really need to start posing more of these figures, because I do enjoy the action poses and stuff. I think it makes them look more dynamic and everything. But yeah, collecting's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think we've talked about that the past couple episodes. But you're not much of a collector, are you? Besides the Han Solo?
Yeah, besides that, I mean, the only other thing I really collect is Pokemon cards now. But, I mean, I did collect Funko Pops for a little while, but I kind of stopped with that. Yeah, pretty much just Han Solos and Pokemon.
I'm ready for those new Rise of Skywalker Funko Pops to come out. I'm going to get 2 of the Ben Solos and probably all the Reys.
I want to get the Mandalorian Ahsoka. When that
Did that one come out already? I don't think
idea.
It's out, but I think it was available for pre-order. I was thinking the other day, it strongly crossed my mind because I still need to cancel my Hot Toys Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren, because I got the Last Jedi one. Strongly crossed my mind to get the Ahsoka and replace that.
Replace it, yeah.
But I don't know. That's a lot of money, and I feel like I'm good with just the Clone Trooper on pre-order. But the Boba Fett also was very tempting, especially after what we've seen in The Mandalorian so far. So I think that being said, let's get into it. Just want to preface this by saying obvious spoilers for Mandalorian Season 2. If you haven't seen episodes 1 through 3 of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, I advise you to turn away and come back
if you've only seen maybe the first episode, we'll say when, okay, we're going on to the second one now or something. But I mean, some stuff might blur just, might cross. But
so you have been warned. Spoilers ahead. Proceed with caution. So I guess before we get into episode 1, did you have any predictions or theories where this season was going to go?
I mean, besides clearly him trying to figure out where to find, Jedi and stuff, kind of like what they said at the end of season 1. Besides that, I mean, we had those cast and confirms, so we kind of knew some characters that were going to show up.
Which I want to talk about that later.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, I didn't even watch the trailer.
You didn't watch the trailer?
No, I went in completely blind, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I kind of like that. so I have really no expectations.
I feel like the trailer was good though, because it didn't show a lot that would spoil anything, but
Mm-hmm.
but it was just enough to still build that hype,
Right.
which is good, because if they would have just shown a character in it, that would have been like, well, there goes the surprise.
Yeah.
Which is another thing too. It's I think we'll get into this when we talk about the third episode, but having all those rumors of these characters coming back was problematic, I found. But we'll get into that why later. I guess my thoughts before season 2 happened. I thought it was just going to be a fun little adventure of Mando trying to get the child back to its people.
Yeah.
Which I guess basically is what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any crazy theories or predictions
I didn't
or
really
anything.
either.
I'll go with what we get. I don't want to speculate too hard. I don't want to put too much thought into it, and just kind of enjoy it as it comes. So I'm just along for the ride. But man, let me tell you, after these first 3 episodes, I think this is some of the best Star Wars content that's out there.
Yeah.
Especially season 2. Season 1 was good. Season 1 had a couple episodes which I didn't care too much for. But season 2 so far, these 3 episodes, episode 2 was a little slower in comparison.
Yeah. But 1 and 3.
1 and 3, those
very good.
Great
Very
Star
good.
Wars action and just content in general. So that being said, let's get into season 1. Not season 1, episode 1. Season 2.
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9, The Marshal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put this on record and say this episode of The Mandalorian is by far my favorite single episode of television I have ever seen in my entire life. I cannot express how much I love this 50 minutes of TV. It was start to finish just incredible. What were your initial thoughts on the episode?
I mean, I definitely thought it was good, but because you told me that before I even saw the episode, like, this is the best episode of television I've ever seen.
I kind of set expectations.
I mean, it definitely kind of. It didn't disappoint. It was a good episode, but I was definitely not as excited.
Did I hype it up?
I might have hyped up a little too much, but it was still good though.
Yeah.
But I understand why now you say that, because at first I thought you're talking about one of the characters, because you're like, oh, well, I read the books and all that stuff.
What did I say to you?
Because you said I've read some of the books and I'm a big fan of like this character or something. I thought you were talking about someone else.
Oh, okay.
So, but after I now know what you're talking about, because I didn't even know that character was in the books.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people didn't.
So now I understand why.
Which is what made it so special for me, because it's kind of a niche group of people. Because I mean, obviously, I don't think most casual fans really dive into the books, but for those of us who do, it's rewarding to see that content taken from the book and put on the screen. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cobb Vanth in all his glory, the Marshal of Mos Pelgo, played by Timothy Oliphant. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He played the traveling salesman in The Office with Dunder Mifflin.
He did?
Yeah, that was him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, but we'll get into his character in a bit. Let's start at the beginning. So Mando is he's with the child trying to obviously we see him at the end of season 1 kind of venture off from Cara Dune and Grief Karga, trying to go his own way and get the child back to where he belongs. So we find him on this planet. Don't know what the planet was. But he goes into this like boxing ring, not boxing, but cage match sort of, Gamorrean like guards trying to kill each other,
kinda thing.
Which was cool. I loved the alleyway or whatever he was walking through to get there with all that graffiti.
Yeah, I loved everything about that little sequence right there.
That was awesome.
Because you got to see this whole other side. That's why I love about The Mandalorian so much. You see this whole other side of Star Wars we've never seen before.
And you have the graffiti with the stormtroopers, and there's a C-3PO on the wall as well. And you get those like dog things. I think that's what they were.
Whatever those were.
Where have we seen those before? Rebels? I'm pretty sure those guys were in Rebels.
Oh yeah,
where
they might be the same ones, or they're in that abandoned hangar.
Yeah,
and they only come out
at night when it's
the dark.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Oh, yeah, that's probably the same one.
Yeah. So obviously their red glowing eyes are pretty intimidating. So he goes into the fight club. He gets information. He's trying to get information from this one guy about where he can find other Mandalorians. But then the other guy wants his best car, obviously, 'cause I think that's a reoccurring theme this season is people wanting his best car. But then, so they all pull out their guns on him, and then he hits the thing, and no, Baby Yoda knows what's about to go down.
Yeah,
and
so
he closes
like,
his pram as Mando activates his whistling birds,
yeah.
and then he goes ham on everybody, straight up, just demolishes everybody. What that fight sequence, that was such a good kickoff to the season.
Yeah,
and it reminds you of how badass this character is,
right?
And just how hyped these fight scenes are and everything. And I don't know, man, there's something about a live action Mandalorian kicking some ass that I love every second of it. So he chases down the one guy after messing up some thugs, and then very Batman style-esque, I think, ties him up upside down, hanging from a rope, where he says that he knows of another Mandalorian on Tatooine. And then what I love about that too is he doesn't want Mando to kill him. So Mando says, "I promise you will not die by my hand."
Yeah.
But as he's walking away, he shoots the lamp and all those dog animal things.
Well, you knew he was gonna get killed.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You just weren't sure how he was gonna do it yet.
100%.
You're like, oh, there it is.
So that was awesome. So then we're back to Tatooine, which I feel like it seems like we're on Tatooine a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining though. It's always nice to return to a familiar place.
I hope we don't really return to it too much more though.
Yeah, we got our Tatooine fix, I think. So we return back with Amy Sedaris' character. Don't know what her name is. She has a name. Her character has a name. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm really glad they brought her back.
I love her.
Bring her back into the same pit.
She's the fun aunt.
She's a great character.
Yeah. I love how she feels about the child. And then I love too, it's just a dumb moment in that scene, but when the Razor Crest lands and Mando gets out, she tells the droids not to go fix it, because but then Mando's like, nah, it's okay. And that's character development.
Yep.
We
got some character development.
We see how IG-11, the nurse IG-11 has kind of changed his view on droids. And we get R5
I was about to say, R5
in that
is
scene too, with the
little cameo.
He's still got the bad motivator grease or whatever, kind of that residue from all those years ago.
Yeah, he's got the carbon scoring and stuff on him.
And then we find out about Mos Pelgo, and at that point I knew Cobb Vanth is going to be in this episode. The episode's called The Marshal. We're going to Mos Pelgo. It's going to be Cobb Vanth, and I was correct. But he takes the speeder bike to Mos Pelgo, and we see that those Tuskens again, as he's traveling there, and we see that genuine interaction with them.
Yeah, he sits down and has a little campfire.
And they're sharing stories. I would assume, and just coexisting peacefully. And
I love so much what they've done with the Tusken Raiders,
especially this episode.
Yeah, this episode
it humanizes
especially.
them, and they're not
because it shows that they're just misunderstood. Basically,
they're not these barbaric creatures that we've kind of made them out to be all this time. If you cooperate with them, they will cooperate with you. And it's humanizing them and making it's showing them in a more positive light, which I love to see.
Yeah.
So then you get the stranger riding through the town, and this is the most Western I think Star Wars has ever gotten.
Yes,
and I am
much
living for it.
It's straight up.
It was amazing.
Because he literally basically walks into
the saloon.
A saloon, yeah.
And
then it's super Western.
And then it's this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So he goes into the saloon and he's asking to find this other Mandalorian, and then the Weequay working behind the bar, it's like, you mean the Marshal? And he's like, the Marshal wears Mandalorian armor. And then he's like, well, look for yourself. And then the camera pans over to Cobb Vanth standing in the doorway, and that shot I got chills. I got chills watching that, because obviously it's Boba's armor.
Yeah,
and it was pretty recognizable.
Yeah,
but it didn't fit him right. So I feel like a lot of people, for the more casual fan base who might not know who Cobb Vanth is, I think a lot of people's first reaction is, wait, is that Boba Fett?
Yeah.
But
that's what I didn't know Cobb Vanth was.
Did you think that was Boba Fett?
At first I was like, Well, I didn't think it was. I was like, is that him? Like, there's no way he'd be the marshal of some town.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, that's clearly not him. But at first look, he's in Boba Fett's armor. You know, it's like,
But
oh.
I love how his armor doesn't fit him right, and that's literally the point. Is he's not, his armor wasn't made for him. He just took it on. And then obviously they have the exchange in the bar where we learn his name, Cobb Vanth, and he takes off his helmet, and that does not sit right with Mr. Din Djarin. Obviously that aspect of Mandalorian culture is very sacred to him, and he, as we see later in season 3, he doesn't like it when Mandos take off their helmets. But we have this new character, Cobb Vanth, who is just the most charismatic, I think, charming, just perfect space cowboy. And another thing too, it's such just a fun, almost cheesy thing. Is when he takes off his helmet, he's got perfect hair. Helmet hair does not exist to Cobb Vanth. His hair is
perfect.
It's spiffy, it's shiny, it's flawless. Which is just so funny, and that's just that cheesy Star Wars way of things that is just so incredible. So they're about to square up in the bar because this town ain't big enough for the two of them.
Yeah.
So they're about to do the old fashioned high noon shootout. But then the ground starts to shake, and we find out. And then I love how they're about to shoot each other, and then Cobb Vanth just sticks up his finger like 1 second, and he goes and checks it out. And we find out that it's the Crate Dragon, which Crate Dragon, for those of you who don't know, it's been established in Star Wars lore before. It's from the Knights of the Old Republic video game, if I'm not mistaken.
And I'm pretty sure it's from A New Hope too.
Oh,
the
that
bones.
is true.
Yeah.
The bones are a Crate Dragon. Which is that the noise it makes is the same noise that Obi-Wan makes in A New Hope when he scares off the Tuskens.
Is it really?
It is.
From like the newer
The special
edit?
edition, yeah.
Special. Huh. Interesting.
There are a lot of tie-ins with A New Hope in this episode. I'll talk more about that later. But so the Crate Dragon's rolling through town and chomps on a bantha. So then obviously it turns into a problem, and Cobb agrees to give Mando the armor if he helps him defeat the Crate Dragon. So then the rest of the episode is just them kind of teaming up with the Tusken Raiders, trying to kill the Crate Dragon. And I could talk about this episode for hours, but I'm gonna try and just keep it short and simple.
We do have
here.
2 more episodes.
Yeah, I know, and we're already almost half hour into the podcast here. I could talk about Cobb Vanth alone for that
Clearly.
long, let alone the rest of the episode. I saw a Cobb Vanth life-size cutout online the other day, $40. Man, I was tempted. I don't know where I would put it.
I did not realize you like this character this much.
Yeah. Well, we haven't talked about it.
No.
At all. This is
literally
our first time talking about it. Because every Friday morning, that's the first thing I do is watch The Mandalorian, and you seem to be a little more...
Well, I work on Friday mornings too, so that's part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
But
this is our first time talking about it. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Oh, and plus on the way to meet up with the Tuskens, or I don't think they were planning on meeting with the Tuskens. I think they were going to see where the Crate Dragon lived, and then they ran into him. But Cobb Vanth is riding on a pod racer engine that's the same model as Anakin's was from The Phantom Menace. Just those details, that attention to detail and those Easter eggs, just phenomenal. And while they're riding there, he tells the backstory of how he got the armor, which this was a little bit different than the book, but the same story premise is there. So in the show, he obviously... he's living in Mos Pelgo, and then the day the Death Star blows up, the Red Key, I think it's what they're called, the mining guild, the mining clan comes through and starts just murdering innocent people. Because I guess that's just how they do things.
They control the town.
Yeah. So then Cobb Vanth steals the Camtono, the Will Hood ice cream maker full of crystals, and he dips, and he's just wandering alone in the desert, very just the way that scene was shot was just so reminiscent of those old westerns and everything. And then he gets saved by some Jawas, and then that's where he finds Boba's armor, was because the Jawas scavenged it after the Sarlacc was killed. So they have the armor, and then Cobb Vanth takes the armor, comes back into town, and that armor just makes him a complete hero, really, for the town, and just he goes ham on some mining dudes, and then they try and run in their little speeder, but then he walks outside and he bends over and he shoots the rocket thing. And that was a callback to the old vintage Kenner Boba Fett figure from way back in the day, because that's how you would do the rocket firing thing, is you'd have to bend over the figure like that. So just that little attention to detail for collectors and stuff was just, it made me smile so much. So we get that awesome backstory, but my favorite part about that middle part of the episode is when Cobb Vanth says, it's right after he steals the Camtono in the flashback, and he goes, "I guess every once in a while both suns shine on a womp rat's tail." And that is my new favorite quote in all of Star Wars. I love it so much, because it's basically saying, like, every once in a while the stars align or something like that, but just the both suns shine on a womp rat's tail, and just coming out of his mouth, the space cowboy's mouth, it's perfect. It made me smile so much. So then they team up with the Tusken Raiders. Took a little convincing. They had a little bit of tension.
Yeah,
trying to
on both sides.
Yeah, but then they roll into town single file because they got to hide their numbers. And you see the villagers and the Tuskens work together to
which is really cool.
Defeat the Krayt Dragon. What I love about the action sequence there too, when they're trying to defeat it, is the aspect ratio actually goes from widescreen to full screen. I don't know if you noticed that.
No. I'm not a film major.
Yeah. So it's like that almost IMAX experience, really, for the whole scene. So they defeat the Krayt Dragon. Because Mando, actually, it's like, so you see Mando and Cobb Vanth both using their armor and their jetpacks and everything, which was so cool.
And which I love that, right when like Mando went to go kill it and like finish it off, he was like, "Oh, I don't remember what he said. You probably know, like, oh, keep the child safe," or like something like real quick, and then he takes like the butt of his gun or whatever and hits the jetpack exactly like Han did in Return of the Jedi.
If I had a nickel for every time Boba Fett's jetpack malfunctioned because it got hit with a stick, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? I love that callback.
Yeah, that was great.
That was so good.
And I love that whole sequence when Mando finally came in and fight in, because this was the badass Mandalorian that we were promised. That they were like, he's the best of the best,
Yeah.
This is what I want to see. I want to see him doing awesome stuff
just
like that.
Action, just straight up fearlessly goes into the mouth of a Krayt Dragon and murders it. And what I love too is this is such a attention to detail thing, but Cobb Vanth's blaster, it's actually based off an AK. If you look at the back part, it's got the same fire selector switch and same. I'm not technical with gun terminology, but it was based off of AK-47. Which that was obviously my favorite gun in COD growing up. So like, of course, I'm gonna pick up on that. But just I just love the armor. Love Cobb Vanth. I could spend a whole episode talking about him in this first episode of season 2, but I won't. But then we see they start. What's the word? Not decomposing. They start dissecting. The Krayt Dragon, getting that meat, and then they find the Krayt Dragon pearl, which was actually from Knights of the Old Republic, if I recall correctly. And then so Mando rides off into the sunset. But
the moment we've all been waiting for.
There's a certain somebody watching over from the distance, and it's none other than Boba Fett.
Yep, there it is.
And I lost my mind. Straight up. I literally made a TikTok right after that, and I could not control my excitement. Just seeing Tamura Morrison just back, and obviously I think it's pretty obvious that it was Boba Fett. Some people think it was Rex or another clone, but first of all, clones age at twice the rate. So by this point in the Star Wars story, Rex is super old. He has that beard.
Yeah.
Plus, what would he be doing by himself on Tatooine anyway?
Right. No. And that wouldn't even, I don't even think that'd line up with his
No,
story
I don't think so either.
line.
But I can put money on it. That's Boba Fett, because obviously the whole episode was basically about his armor.
Well, yeah.
And we know.
Mandalorian is driving off with his armor.
Yeah.
To go like
And
put it
he's
to rest.
watching
and
over.
He's watching over it. Yeah. That's clearly Boba Fett.
Plus, he doesn't have eyebrows or hair. And my theory on that is that's from the Sarlacc pit being inside. Maybe there's like acid or something. That's just a guess though. But I lost my mind. But the question is, are we going to see more of him, or is that just kind of a teaser to say, hey, Boba Fett's still alive?
I hope we don't see more of him, if I'm being completely honest.
Really?
If we do see more, I want him to get his armor. That's it. I seriously do not want to see him that much in the show, because I don't want it to take away. And I mean, I'll talk about this more once we get to episode 3, but I don't. Like, I'm okay when you're bringing back characters, but I don't want it to take away from the Mandalorian. Because this is the Mandalorian.
I agree. So you've already established these characters that everybody likes. Why?
And especially since Disney has a track record of bringing back characters just to kill them, as we see in the sequels. So I'm so glad they brought him back though, because that ends that age-old debate of, did Boba Fett die or did he survive? And now it's canon, he survived. So I'm so glad they did it though.
I mean, I never once in my life have I believed that Boba Fett actually died.
No, I always thought he survived.
I mean, in Legends, obviously he survives, and that's kind of where I got that information from growing up. But I could not contain my excitement when Boba Fett came back to the screen. It brought me so much joy. So I think that basically covers everything from chapter 9. Trying to think. Did I talk about Cobb Vanth enough? Did I talk about how much I love Cobb Vanth?
I think you talked about him enough.
Corn bus man. That's from Michael mixing around.
Corn bus.
Because like emoji, obviously corn cob, so the corn emoji, and then van. There's not a van emoji, so you have to use a bus. So it's corn bus man. We stand Cobb Vanth. I think that
I really enjoyed his character though.
Oh yeah,
like he did a very good job as that martial Western.
Well, just being a fan of the books, and for those of you who might have not caught on by now, Cobb Vanth is actually from the Aftermath trilogy of Star Wars books. There are 3 canon novels that are pretty highly regarded in the canon books. They're definitely up there for being some of the best in a lot of people's eyes. So seeing his story go from the books to the screen was just incredible. Also, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have a theory for because I bet we'll see him again.
There's a good chance.
Yeah, I think that there's gonna be a situation where Mando's in trouble and it's gonna seem like all hope is lost, but then Cobb Vanth is gonna come to the rescue. And because of that,
it sounds like that's what you want to happen. You're in a situation where you're in trouble and you want Cobb Vanth to come save you.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, if I'm ever in trouble and Cobb Vanth doesn't come and save me,
comes out of nowhere.
Then what's the point? But I think that Cobb Vanth is going to rescue Mando when he's in a dire situation, and Mando's going to think that, well, Cobb Vanth has been there for me all this time, and they've kind of got this bond and this trust, and I think he's going to give him back the armor because he's going to feel like Cobb deserves it after that.
Maybe.
So,
I don't know, though.
But it's not about the armor, it's about the person. The armor just gave him that feeling of importance and how he can protect this town, but he doesn't need the armor to protect the town. It's not about what's on the outside, it's wow, I can't talk. What? It's not about what's on the outside, it's about what's on the inside.
There you go.
And that's Cobb Vanth in a nutshell. Man, I love him. I love him so much. He's honestly probably my top 10 favorite Star Wars characters.
Jeez.
I love everything about Cobb Vanth. Maybe I should get that cardboard cut out. Don't know where I'd put it, but man, that would be cool to have. So that's chapter 9.
Yeah, there we go.
That was a lengthy discussion, but
10
I feel like it was a good discussion. Chapter 10. What was the episode called? The Voyager? The Passenger? I think it was The Passenger.
The Passenger, I think it was.
Frog Lady.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. Why are you so excited for Frog Lady?
Because Frog Lady is wholesome. She's so
No,
pure.
I love Frog Lady. Yeah.
She deserves the
Frog
world.
Lady deserves better. You want to know why she
Yeah.
deserves better? Because the entire episode, Baby Yoda's just going to town
Murder.
on her children.
It's murder. It's literal
This
murder.
is ridiculous.
Oh man, that's. Anyway, so let's start at the beginning of the episode. Mando's got the armor. He has a run-in with some smugglers or some pirates or whatever you call those thieves at the beginning of the episode.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think one of them was actually a Tito from The Force Awakens, that species we see on Jakku, on the Lugga Beast when Rey finds BB-8.
Yeah.
They go by the name Tito, but their species name is also Tito. So, I think that was a Tito. Not entirely sure, but we see
He just messes them up, basically.
Yeah, basically, it's just unfazed. Mando doing Mando.
But Baby Yoda, I'm always probably just gonna call it Baby Yoda. That's what
fine.
everybody does.
Yeah.
But like, one thing I think is so funny about that scene though is the two are like getting that rope set up, the speeder, and like Mando, he's fine, but Baby Yoda, he's all flying off and he's rolling and
he gets yeeted.
Like, it's like, jeez, man.
Which is just so funny.
Yeah.
We're just seeing Baby Yoda go flying. My favorite part about this episode, honestly, is just the puppet of Baby Yoda, because there are certain parts where he just scurries across the ground. It looks off, but it's so funny at the same time. So he goes back to Mos Eisley Cantina, where he finds Amy.
Which he goes back at night, and if you notice, it's bustling. Because in season 1, when he was at the cantina during the day, there was no one in like the entire city, But at night, it's bustling. I was like, huh, that's interesting.
And we see Amy Sedaris' character and Dr. Mandible, a giant space ant, playing Sabak, which is interesting because the guy who directed the Ant-Man movies directed this episode, which is why I think that ant was in there.
Yeah.
But we also did see him in season 1, episode 5. Dr. Mandible is chilling in the cantina. Anyway, one thing leads to another, and Mando agrees to take Frog Lady to Trask, which is where her husband is, and she's transporting her spawn in a bucket backpack, forbidden boba kind of thing. And
they can't use hyperspace.
They can't use hyperspace because that'd
kill the kids.
That'll kill the kids, and we don't want the kids to get killed.
Well, they do get killed anyways.
Well, a couple of them do. Thanks to everybody's
More than
favorite
should.
foundling.
Yeah.
So they don't. So they're just cruising along, not in hyperspace, just trying to play it safe. And then the New Republic pulls up, and we get everybody's new favorite X-wing pilot, Trapper Wolf, which is Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
And the other guy's name is Carson. I don't know the actor's name, but I know his pilot's name is Carson something. And so they're, it's just a routine checkup. Hey, are you doing anything you shouldn't be doing? Are you carrying any cargo? And then they're just, Mando's just trying to get through this encounter and smoothly with no issues. Oh, another thing I love too is just when he goes, "May the Force be with you," and then I think he goes, "and also with you." It's just a little thing I found funny.
I thought that was interesting. He said that.
Yeah, because he knows nothing of the Jedi, nothing of the Force.
Right, but he knows that.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Quite interesting.
Which, I mean, I think probably the only reason why he knows that is because to say that when he's in situations like that, and so they'd be like, "Oh, okay, he's fine."
That could be it.
That's probably the only reason why. But I just thought, I was like, "Oh, I was not expecting him to say that at all."
So then he has to like run his tags or whatever.
Yeah, and they find.
And then they're like, switch over to channel 2, and then the X-wing pilots cut out because they're on a different channel and you can't hear them. And there's a moment where it's just silent and you don't really know what's happening, and then Lock-ass Foil is in attack position, and you see the X-wing get ready to mess some stuff up, and then they're like, "Was your vessel in the airspace of that prison transport ship thing?" And then Mando's like, "Shoot!" and then he just dips, and then they're like, "We got a runner." It was a very Need for Speed-esque kind of cop chase, police chase.
No, it definitely was. I mean, he was like literally like once they got on the plane, he's like drifting in between ice and stuff, and like doing all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's a pretty good pilot.
Yeah,
all things considered, he's flying that old ship pretty well until he doesn't. And he
well, I mean, he does fine. And just when he lands on the ice, he falls through.
Yeah, that's
so that wasn't really his fault.
Yeah, I didn't remember that correctly. So they fall through the ice, and the ship's pretty beat up.
Yeah.
So then they're just chilling for a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. And then
Baby Yoda's eating some kids.
Baby Yoda does eat kids. It was funny the first time. And then it's like, these are the last of this lady's bloodline.
Yeah, you start to get kind of pissed. You're like, bro, stop eating them.
Yeah.
Like,
it's literally murder.
It's a little infuriating.
Yeah. A lot of people were getting upset about that too. That was like a real issue with people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what? Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, the first time it's kind of like, that was kind of funny.
But he kept doing it. He wouldn't stop.
Even, like, literally... The whole time, even
the whole
in the
episode,
third
at
episode,
the end, yeah,
he's still trying to eat them. It's like, oh my god,
he's a hungry boy. You do be a hungry boy, though.
You do be hungry, though.
Anyway, Frog Lady finds her way to the hot tub, and
the secret hot tub.
Yeah, there's one shot where it's just a wide shot, and it's just Frog Lady chilling in the hot tub. And if you have closed captions on, it says Frog Lady speaking frog, and I don't know why. I think that's just the funniest thing. Or like I saw a TikTok, and it was like, oh, Mando trying to fix his ship, like all intense and everything, and then it cuts the Frog Lady. And she's just chilling in the hot tub, with all her eggs.
Which the reason why she was doing that is because it was so cold and her kids were gonna die, so that's why she needed to go over there. But it's just funny though.
Yeah, but it's still funny.
It's still really funny.
And she's just chilling. So they come back, and they're like, we can't stay here. It's gonna get dark soon. We gotta pack it up. Pack your things. We need to leave. Where does he say? Jango Fett in episode 2.
Pack your things, we're leaving.
Okay, that's what he says. Yeah. And Baby Yoda's still trying to eat the eggs, but then Mando kind of stops him.
He goes, eat some other eggs.
But then he's like, well, if I can't eat these eggs, there's eggs over here. So he does his little scurry over to the eggs. We see one. He reaches in, pulls out a gooey spider, eats it. So we're like, okay, well, he's still chomping. But then all the other eggs start to shake.
Yeah.
And we get some spiders, which I feel really bad for the people who are arachnophobic and stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch this episode, because that must have been a terrifying experience. Luckily, I'm not really afraid of spiders.
I hated it.
Oh, are you arachnophobic?
Is that means the fear of spiders? Yeah. Nah, I was like, heck no.
Yeah.
No, I think the one thing I think is so funny about that though, once all the eggs start shaking and stuff, and Baby Yoda realizes it was how fast he like comes back. He's like
the way he, especially when they get back to the ship and Frog Lady puts him down. I don't know why, but the way he moves across the floor was just it looks so off, but it was so funny at the same time. But anyway, so we get spiders of all sizes starting to chase after them. They get progressively bigger and bigger as the scene goes on, and then obviously we get the mother. I presume that's huge.
Like a mother and a father, or two mothers, or something. Because there was 2 of them.
Were there 2 big ones?
Yeah.
Because they killed one, didn't they?
Yeah.
On the way back? Yeah.
Yeah.
So some big spiders. Pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I didn't think too much of it because I'm not.
I liked the kind of the fighting sequence he had with them. It kind of would switch between stuff, like he would shoot with the blasters and he got some flamethrower action.
And then he did his grenade
little grenades. Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So they get back to the ship, and they're getting and it was almost like a zombies wow, talking is hard sometimes. It reminded me of zombies and just the horde chasing you. But so they get there, and they're about to take off, and they're slowly taking off, but then the other big one jumps on the ship, weighs it down, and they're getting overrun. But then we hear X-wing shots, and then we hear what's the Republic blaster? A20C, A20.
Yeah.
It's got an A and a
20C?
It's got an A and a 2 in it for sure.
And there's a C, yeah.
And there's a C. It might be an A20C.
It might be. If it's not an A20C, it's like an A120C.
Something like that. It's the Republic blaster rifle. You all know it. You all love it. And we get Trapper Wolf and Carson back because they found the ship. Mm-hmm. Another thing too about Dave Filoni's character is first of all, Trapper Wolf, that was 100% his name he came up with his character, because we know he's got this infatuation with wolves and everything, and he's got the Wolfpack battalion logo on his X-Wing helmet, which I love that little detail. So then they save him from the spiders, and they have that exchange of dialogue where they say, well, you're wanted for the for that heist, basically, but you did some other good stuff. We have you on the record for trying to save Matt Lanter's character's life. So he's like, are you going to arrest me? And then he's like, well, technically we should, but these are trying times. But they don't help him. They just let him be.
Which I think is a little interesting that they wouldn't help him, just because like he definitely could have died.
Oh, 100%.
Like that'd be a little weird. Like, we're not gonna arrest you, but good luck.
You know what would have been cooler though? If Cobb Vanth came to the rescue.
Oh my god.
Cobb Vanth rolls up on his pod racer engine.
Yeah.
I guess every once in a while both suns shine on a womp rat's tail. And what if Mando said that? What if Mando said that once Cobb Vanth saved him? Like literally all hope is lost. He's getting overrun by spiders. Cobb Vanth pulls up on the pod racer engine, uses his jetpack and his blaster, just pew 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 pew. And then Mando walks out and he's like, I guess every once in a while both suns shine on a womp rat's tail. Oh my god, dude, that would have been sick. I love Cobb Vanth. We stand Cobb Vanth on this podcast. Oh my gosh. That might be a TikTok clip too. That was pretty funny.
Always thinking about it.
Yeah, literally, it's my life now. I'm on live. I'm on TikTok live as we're doing this podcast. So I haven't acknowledged anybody on the live yet. But hello, thank you for being here. You can find this also on YouTube after we're done with it, and Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So let's talk about. Do you think this episode was a filler episode?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely kind of had that filler-esque feel, because not really anything happened. There wasn't any progression with him trying to find Mandalorians. I mean, he was on his way to get there, but it was still not. Yeah, so I think it was kind of filler.
I really liked what the Rex and Around show talked about it yesterday. It's not a filler episode, because filler episodes are implying that it's useless and that it's pointless and that it serves no point in the story. They called it a travel episode, which I like a lot better, because it's them getting from point A to point B, and it still has
like that.
important story elements. Because I'll tell you what, I bet this isn't the last we're going to see of the New Republic.
Oh, no.
Of those guys. I think the purpose of this episode was to establish that relationship with the New Republic, because that might be a tie-in to something else later down the line. I thought that was going to be a tie-in to finding a certain character, but from what we've seen this past episode, that I guess not. But I think the relationship with the New Republic is definitely going to come up again. Yeah. So I feel like the point of this episode was to establish that.
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
Travel episode. It wasn't just.
No, it wasn't pointless filler. I think it did have a purpose. Just it wasn't the most exciting episode, but
yeah. I did like those spiders. I'm pretty sure were in the Clone Wars.
They were in Rebels.
They were in Rebels.
They were on that planet.
That's what it was. Because I've seen these before, but I couldn't remember where.
They were also in the concept art for Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, really?
The more you know.
I don't remember that.
So that brings us to episode 3,
which is literally all I've been wanting to talk about this whole time. Is episode 3.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the passenger?
No.
Except Frog Lady. Which we're gonna get.
His ship is just literally annihilated.
It's
like they can only be in the cockpit, because if you go outside, you're gonna get sucked into space. Like it's just terrible. But yeah.
So let's move on to chapter 11. The Heiress, I think is what the episode's called.
I honestly loved this episode. Like I really like. I probably like this episode more than the first one. To be honest,
I feel like most people do.
I really like this.
Most
episode.
people aren't Cobb Vanth stands.
Yeah,
so that's why I like. plus the whole Boba Fett thing. Okay, we've established why I like.
Okay.
But I feel like most people are in the same
Yeah.
boat as you are, where they preferred this episode to that one. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, but I still think this is
Yeah.
the second best episode of the whole show, behind
Right.
the first one. But
Like, I love how it starts too. It's
Yeah.
like him just
It's
like trying to
just-
go onto the planet.
yeah,
But like it's a struggle.
it's
you
a
know?
struggle. He's literally, his ship is entering atmosphere and it's on
He's
fire.
gotta do it all manually, and
And,
you
yeah,
think he's safe. He's like
frog
lands,
himself. Yeah, everything looks fine, and then
just
and then it
tips
just
over
tips in
into
the
the
water, and there's
water.
that Mon Calamari just looking
just,
at
yeah,
him.
he's just like
Just,
just like
and
turns
there's just
around,
face
yeah.
palm. And then they pull his ship out of the water and everything.
And now
Which
it's
that.
literally
Did you see that walker that pulled them out?
Yeah.
I think the bottom half of that was
that
from
was
AT-AT.
that definitely looked like an AT.
That was
yeah.
pretty cool.
I noticed that too. But yeah, now literally at this point, his ship is garbage. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Basically, it's ruined.
It's pretty bad.
And then so he gets off the ship, obviously. And then
Mm-hmm.
what I love about this episode that not enough people are talking about is the wholesome reunion between
Yes,
Frog
no.
Lady
Yes,
and Frogman.
Frog Lady Frog. No, I love that so
Nobody's
much.
talking about it.
Really?
Yeah, on TikTok, it's all about the certain character we see later. It's not.
dude,
It's not about the wholesome moment between Frog Lady and her husband.
Yeah, I
that
love
reunion.
that.
Oh my god, the way the camera shots were, where they're on opposite ends and they notice
It's
each
a
other.
classic.
It's classic.
Yeah.
It's so stereotypical of that reconnecting of two lovers. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, dude, I loved it so
No,
much.
it was
And
so
it's
good.
such a wholesome moment, and it made my heart full and made my heart happy. And
Yeah.
I loved it so much, but nobody's talking about it.
That's ridiculous.
We also stand Frog Lady on this podcast.
yes.
Frog Lady, I saw a Frog Lady hate TikTok the other day.
What do you hate about Frog Lady?
She was like, "Oh, somebody offered me $4 million to kill this lady, I would do it, and I would say, keep your money." And that was
Dude,
Frog
Frog
Lady
Lady
slander, and I'm
literally
not
did
tolerating it.
Nothing wrong.
No,
She's just been wholesome,
yeah.
vibing with her kids the whole time.
She's smart as heck too. She literally reprogrammed that droid
Yeah,
in order to
to
communicate
talk,
with
yeah.
man. The unsung hero of the
This is
Mandalorian
ridiculous.
is Frog Lady, and she does not get the rest.
I'm not gonna watch Mandalorian anymore. I've already seen as much as I need to.
Yeah,
Frog Lady,
Frog Lady
Man,
carries the show.
We're good. We're good. I don't need to see anything else.
Yeah, but man, that
No, I
moment was
loved
so
that.
wholesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, so I'm glad we talked about
Mm-hmm.
that, and hopefully we can bring more awareness to that
Yes.
moment, because it definitely deserves more recognition. So they go into the bar. Question: Is it Mon Calamari or is it Mon Cala, the species name? Because the planet and the species name, one of them is Mon Calamari, one of them is Mon Cala. I always get them
I'm
mixed
pretty
up.
sure Mon Cala is the planet. Mon Calamari is the species.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so
Pretty
that's
sure that's what it is.
probably correct.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna lie though, the Mon Calamari kind of. I wasn't a huge like something was off with me with how they looked. Like they almost looked too fake or too rubbery or something. I don't know.
they were probably practical. They
No,
were practical.
Yeah, they weren't. It wasn't like all CGI and stuff. So, which I really liked, but it was just like, it was a little different compared to what we've seen, you know.
Yeah.
So that kind of threw me off a little bit.
So we get a lot of them. We get a lot of quarrying too.
Yeah,
The
a lot of
tentacle
corn.
wars,
Yeah,
and that
Mm-hmm.
plays a part later. So they go into the bar. That's a common theme in Star Wars: going to the bar, going to the cantina.
yep.
And they Baby Yoda eats some chowder with some live squid
thing
in it.
Yeah. And then Mando's just like, "Don't play with your food" or whatever.
What I really like too is when Mando slid those Mon Calamari credits.
Mm-hmm.
That was a reference to the very first episode when he collected his first bounty. He was paid in Mon Calamari credits.
Yeah.
So I think those were those.
Mm-hmm.
Just a small detail I picked up on. And then we talked to that one guy, and then we talked to the Quarren, and it's like, oh well, we know where the Mandalorians are. We can take you there, and then go on a boat. I think
And
that's
he leaves Baby Yoda with
Frog Lady and Frog Man.
Yeah.
because they were.
And as soon as he did that, I was like, "Oh no,
yeah,
no, this is not gonna be good."
know.
Because immediately as they do that, he's like,
he's
it like
got his
zooms
eye
in
on him. Yeah.
him, and he's like literally right up on the glass, and he's huge, just staring at them.
He's got his eye on
It's
him.
like,
and
oh
then one
my
of them
God.
hatches,
Yeah.
or is that at the end of
That's
the episode?
at the end of the
Okay,
episode.
never mind. We'll get to that later then, because
But-
that's actually important, and I'll explain why later.
Uh huh.
So we we're on the boat. Mando and Baby Yoda going to find the other Mandalorians.
Oh yeah, he's with them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's
Yeah, that's later that day.
Yeah.
He brings him with him.
So then they're gonna feed that what they call it, a mud.
I don't even.
I don't know the name of the big fish. There's always a bigger fish.
Yep.
And so they're standing pretty close to the edge, and Mando's like cautious, like that's close enough. Don't go any closer, because I think he's got a feeling something's up. And
the
then
guy just yeets Baby Yoda
they
right
put the
in
fish
there.
in the water as bait,
Yeah.
and they throw Baby Yoda right in there.
And he gets gobbled up.
The pram closes just in time.
Yeah.
Literally kept him alive. That's what saved him. And Mando, without hesitation, just head first dives after his child.
Yeah.
And then they close the gate on him, the Quarren, because they want his best car. Because everybody wants his best car.
Everyone
apparently.
wants the best car. Yeah.
And so they're
Which
trying.
I kind of like that because it really shows how like a lot of people are just like ruthless and they greedy and they just like how this is what the universe is now. Kind of.
I like
thing.
your stormtrooper socks.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's off topic, but Noah's wearing stormtrooper socks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. This sweater and my Cantina shirt are literally the only Star Wars apparel that I own. I need to get more.
I only have a couple shirts and a sweat. Well, no, I have a couple shirts, a hoodie, a hat, quite a few socks. That's about it.
Nice. So they're trying to drown him.
Anyways,
and it's looking pretty rough, but we hear some jetpacks.
and we see some
We see a Mandalorian land.
great
and
dude.
in familiar armor.
Yeah, the great like Mandalore armor.
And I recorded
Watch
my
armor.
live reaction when she came on screen. I'm gonna post it to TikTok tomorrow probably. My jaw was to the floor. I was like, no way. That's Bo-Katan.
That's Bo-Katan.
That's Lady
Yep.
Bo-Katan. The armor is obviously super recognizable. You know it's her.
Yeah.
And she's got some other Mandalorians with her. So they beat up all the Quarren. I think they kill him actually.
Yeah.
Death
they end
to
up
the
killing
Quarren.
him.
Yeah, because that comes into play later. And then the one of them.
Before we go any further though, this is the one thing that I've noticed that is really kind of starting to bother me about the Mandalorian both seasons. I'm assuming it happened decent on season 1. I don't really remember because it's been a minute since I've seen it, but he gets saved a lot, constantly getting saved by other people. Like, dude, come on, man. This is like, I understand every now and then, but like all the time. Even this season, he got saved by the X-Wing fighters, and he got saved by the Mandalorians. He probably got saved in the first episode too. I just don't remember. Like, come on, dude. You're the best of the best. Stop being saved by everybody.
He
It's
gets
ridiculous.
he gets himself in too many sticky situations.
Like,
that he
you
can't
should
get out
have
of.
you should have not just jumped into the water like that, or like
Yeah.
I don't know, like.
So anyway, they save Baby Yoda. The pram's destroyed, but he's fine. And then, they're chatting for a little bit. He's like, "Oh, I've been searching for others of my kind for a long time." And then they take off their helmets, and he's like, he immediately, "Where'd you get the armor? You're not real Mandalorian."
Yeah, he goes off.
It's because he's in a cult.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is what I love about this episode so much. Is we finally get an explanation of why he is like this.
Yeah.
Because the entire time we're like, dude, why? Because every other Mandalorian we've ever seen in
Takes
Star
off
Wars
their helmet.
takes off their helmet, except for him and his tiny little band of Mandalorians. So I'm so glad we finally get that explanation.
Because it's
that
a cult.
It's
literally
a cult.
They're brought up by the Watch.
Brought up, and they're trying to bring back the ancient ways of the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and that's a part of it. Is you don't take off your helmet in front of people.
Yeah, and he's literally and he's like, "Where'd you get the armor?" And Bo-Katan's like, "This armor has been in my family for generations.
Yeah.
Like I am I'm literally a true Mandalorian."
Like, dude, you're talking to the wrong person
Yeah,
right now. Like this is a Mandalorian here, man. Like
straight up.
And she like even
actual
talks about like the
Mandalorian.
purge and stuff,
Yeah,
and it's like this is a real Mandalorian.
I loved that explanation. It was short, but it was
it was
to
great.
the point.
Yeah,
and
it was perfect.
Finally makes you kind of realize, which we already kind of knew of why he didn't take off his helmets and stuff, because he was brought up in a different way of Mandalorian culture. But to have that explanation in the show is helpful.
It's like, thank you.
Um,
Finally.
Let's talk about Bo-Katan for a second, she's played by Katie Sackhoff, who is actually the voice actor from the Clone Wars and Rebels.
That is what I was curious about, because I was like, okay, is that the person that actually voices her, or did they dub over that person's voice to get the same voice? You know?
Yeah.
So that's awesome that it's actually the same person.
She looked pretty good too.
Yeah, she looked really good.
From being an animated character going to live action, I thought she looked fantastic.
Definitely.
Which is what I'm worried about with the new character they're coming back. But because the reason I think she looked so good in live action is because she's human.
Yeah.
The other character we're going to see in live action
is not human.
It's human.
It's
gonna be weird.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a minute here.
But she looked really good. My only thing is though, how old is Bo-Katan supposed to be at this point in the timeline? Yeah. Because you think, I don't know how old she was at the end of Clone Wars. I don't know how old she was in Rebels. But to me, I feel like she should be older than what she looked like.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
She definitely
seemed really young for the timeline-wise.
Yeah.
Because the Clone Wars because this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's a big gap of time.
Clone Wars.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, that's a pretty big gap.
I don't know. But that's a nitpicky thing.
You can definitely tell she's older, but it's just But I mean,
I don't care.
I don't care because it's the same character that voices her, so I'm happy.
Yeah,
you know?
she looked fine.
She looks good. I
love the way the armor looks in live action was just so good.
It looked really nice.
It looked really good.
When they first all came, I'm like, those are Mandalorians right there.
They're releasing a Bo-Katan Black Series figure. I wasn't gonna get it until I watched this episode, and now I'm gonna try and pre-order it. But as we know, that might be difficult because Hasbro sucks.
Right.
But that's definitely on my want list now. So then they kind of go through the episode, and Mando's kind of mad about it, and he kind of goes off on his own. And as he's venturing back, he gets pulled up on by some Corrin
again. And what happens? He gets saved again in the same episode twice now already.
But just the way Bo-Katan's like, he didn't kill your brother, I did.
Yeah,
like bring it on. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And then they mess.
And then literally all of them were just
instantly. Yeah. They're all dead.
All down.
All the
That
Corrin
was
are
great.
dead.
Yeah.
What's up with Corrin always being the bad guys?
I don't know.
Are we ever going to get humanized Corrin like we did with the Tusken Raiders?
Yeah, what is this, dude? It's kind of racist.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. The Corrin always do seem to be the bad guys, though.
Yeah, they do.
It's always the Mon Calamari are the good guys, and the
Yep.
Corrin are the bad guys. That's beyond the point, though. So then they go back to the bar and they're talking.
They talk, yeah.
And then they kind of revealed their plan about, like, hey, I'm trying to take back my home of Mandalore, and there's something I need to be able to do that, and I know what I need to do in order to find it. So they need to hijack this ship.
I'm assuming you knew what she was talking about. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Which they're rumored to make a Black Series version of that.
Really?
Like, you know how they make the lightsabers, Black Series lightsabers? They're supposed to make a Black Series version of it. I don't know why we're talking in code.
I don't know. It's a dark
saber.
She needs the.
We put out a spoiler.
She needs the dark saber to rule Mandalore.
Yeah,
and I mean that's been established
since the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
we know that the leader of Mandalore has the dark saber.
Yeah.
So she's after it, which is interesting because, to be honest, obviously the Bo-Katan rumors were there before the season started, but I didn't think she'd be in this timeline, because the way I saw it, I'm like, okay, we know Bo-Katan had the darksaber last. Yeah. And Bo-Katan is a true Mandalorian to her core. And if because we knew Moff Gideon has it currently, so how did Moff Gideon get it from Bo-Katan? And I figured there's no way Bo-Katan would willingly give that up without a fight. So I thought if Moff Gideon has the darksaber, that means he killed Bo-Katan to get it, and he took it off her corpse. So I was quite surprised to see Bo-Katan still alive. Mm-hmm. So I think that storyline, I hope they flesh it out and explain how he got it from her. Because I figured, well, if she doesn't have the darksaber anymore, that means she's dead.
Right.
That's just my thoughts on it, though. So it was interesting to see that she's still alive. So then this is when Mando gives Baby Yoda back to frog gravy.
Yeah, this is when it does.
And he's got his eye on those eggs.
Yeah,
And you're like,
He's
oh no,
lurking
this
out. You're like,
they're
this is not gonna go good. I was so concerned when he did that. I was like,
Yep.
I don't like this.
So they're just chilling on top of the crest, waiting for their time to strike.
Raid the supply ship, Imperial supply ship.
Imperial supply ship. So then they fly up with their jetpacks, and it's just so cool seeing jetpacks used like that in Star Wars. I don't know, it's very Iron Man-esque, and I think
And in live action too.
yeah, and I think the Iron Man symbolism is 100% because of Jon Favreau.
Oh, definitely.
Which is just so fun to see. So they get on the Imperial ship, and they're messing up stormtroopers. It was nice to see shiny stormtroopers again.
Yeah, I was thinking about the shiny stormtroopers.
We've seen the remnant troopers, and you're like, oh, those are cool. But it's nice to see some nice, pristine, shiny, all glossed up Stormy boys again. Still can't hit anything.
No, there was a lot more than I thought there'd be.
Especially that one scene where Mando freaking just walks down the hallway and is tanking shots.
That Beskar dude, holy crap.
Yeah. But like
That's
the thing
insane.
is, there's a lot of parts on his body that aren't protected by Beskar. So he must have had a lot of confidence that they were only going to hit the Beskar plot armor.
He was kind of like,
he was tucked down
a little bit, so it definitely kind of covered
those
those
parts. Two of them
parts.
had the DLT like 19 like heavy machine gun things, and they were just unloading on him, and he's just tanking shots like it was nothing. So anyway, they make their way through the ship. Just seeing Bo-Katan just mess up that one stormtrooper with like her hidden blade almost. Just that was awesome.
Yeah, that was brutal. Like, whoa, dang.
And just seeing it all in live action is just so much more satisfying than animation, I think.
Oh, definitely.
There's nothing against the animation style, but having that actually happen in live.
But when it's Star Wars, it being live,
And then, oh geez, what was I gonna say? And then all the three of them are just walking down the hallway, like all badass and everything. And then Mando's a little bit behind, like he doesn't quite fit.
Yeah,
in.
I know. He doesn't. Mando doesn't really do anything until he makes that like throw in a grenade play. The whole time he's like, "Oh crap, I gotta keep up with these guys. They mean business, Yeah, which I thought was funny.
So then, is that before or after they do the cargo hold?
That was before.
Okay, so then
because then
they ride up the elevator and trap all the people in the cargo hold.
The guy's an idiot and closes the door.
Well, you know what's interesting too? Was that the first Imperial officer we've seen with an American accent?
I have no idea.
I think it might have been, and for whatever reason, that caught me off guard because I think from all we've seen, Imperials are always British. They always have British accents. So to see an American accent Imperial officer was different. Interesting, but different. But he was not the sharpest knife in the drawer. That's
no,
for sure.
He was not. That was so funny. I'm like, this idiot.
And then he's like, "Oh, we locked him in the cargo control room." And then the other guy was like, "Where?"
Yeah,
and
he
then,
was like fine with it for a second. He's like, "Okay, wait a second.
Wait a minute, where?" And then they just get blasted into oblivion. That's not a fun way to die.
No, that would suck.
That's horrible.
That's terrifying.
So then
they get all the weapons and
they get all the weapons.
Go to take over the bridge because they're like, because he caught Moff Gideon. He's like, yo, along with the Empire, can't let him capture the ship.
He was like, we need backup, and then he tells them how much of the ship they've captured, and Moff Gideon is like, well, it's too far gone. You know what you have to do. And then
long live the Empire.
Long live the Empire. And he takes out his two pilots, which Moff Gideon is the perfect example of what the Empire wanted their higher ups to be like. Yeah. He is cold. He's ruthless.
Love his character. I want to see so much more of him.
Yeah. He's a cold-blooded. No
he's
regard.
A good villain.
The only thing he cares about is serving the Empire.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the people in the Empire.
No, he doesn't.
He just cares about the Empire.
Yeah.
And he is just exactly what the Empire wants in their higher up leaders. He is
And having, I don't know what that guy's name is, but having that guy play his character.
Gianardo. I was on a live last night and I asked my Google assistant what his name was. Never mind.
But I'm so glad he's playing that character because he's played other roles as like a villain in other.
Was he on Breaking Bad?
Yeah, he was like a villain in Breaking Bad, and he's just he's so good with it. He's so good. I love it.
Yeah, he's definitely plays that character well. I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah, same.
Because so then the captain or whatever shoots his pilots, and he's going down with the ship. He's taking the ship down. Very very imperial standard procedures when the ship gets taken. If you've read the book Lost Stars, you know all about that. But then the Mandos eventually make their way up there, and we find out. So they're Mando and the girl, Sasha Banks character. What's her name? Something Reeves. Which is actually, she was in the trailer. Because at the beginning of the episode when she's in the hood, kind of looking on at the docks.
I think
that was her, like in the dark hood, just kind of watching.
Oh yeah.
That was the Mandalorian. Everybody thought that was Sabine when the trailer came out.
Oh,
but obviously it's not Sabine.
If Sabine, I'd love to see Sabine.
It might still happen. But then, so we find out. So Bo's after the Darksaber, and she kind of gets up in the officer's face, trying to figure out where it was, and she's like, "Does he have it?" Because she obviously knows who Moff Gideon is and everything, and he's like, "Well, if you're asking the question, you already know the answer." And then
she finally says Darksaber too.
Yeah, to clarify.
Yeah.
And then so she's trying to get answers out of the guy, but what does he do? He pulls a.
I knew that was gonna happen. I saw that coming from a mile away.
He pulls a something very similar to what a certain he pulls what the old German World War II strat of taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
And just chomps on a cyanide pill, even though it's not
instead
cyanide.
Of a cyanide pill, it's like
an electric.
Electric, yeah.
And just
I saw that. I knew that was happening.
I love that. I love it because it's that connection to the real life inspiration that influenced the Empire. Because obviously he got a lot of it was based off Nazis and Nazi Germany, and just that was just further proving that point.
Right.
And just that historical parallels is really cool to see. So then obviously Mando's trying to get Baby Yoda to the Jedi, and we get the name drop. You go to this planet of Corvus or whatever. There you will find Ahsoka Tano. Let me tell you, here's the thing. We were expecting it, you know?
Yeah.
Wasn't exciting. I mean, obviously it was exciting, but if we didn't have all these rumors of all these old characters coming back, our minds would have been blown.
Yeah, we would have been like...
Disney really dropped the ball with all the rumors and everything. Because even with Bo-Katan, could you imagine if we had no idea any of these old characters coming back? Out of nowhere, Bo-Katan drops on the ship and saves Mando.
Yeah.
I mean, it
would have been crazy.
It was a cool moment nonetheless, but imagine how much cooler it would have been if we were just in the dark about it. We had no idea.
If we had no idea about Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, like, it would just be so good.
So much better. Can you imagine how crazy people would have gone if when she said Ahsoka Tano and we had no idea it was coming? Because obviously we already know the actress. We already know, we already know, and it makes it less exciting. If we didn't know and Bo-Katan just says you go find Ahsoka Tano, the internet would have blown up.
Yeah, it would have freaked out.
Everybody would have lost their minds.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been the level of Baby Yoda, but it would have been a big level.
No, it would have been more than Baby Yoda.
You think so?
Absolutely. Seeing an old beloved character coming back to an old show in live action would by far get more hype than Baby Yoda, especially Ahsoka. Man,
yeah, Ahsoka's like literally the best character. Ahsoka's probably my second favorite character in Star Wars.
Yeah,
like she's amazing.
Yeah,
and
it would have absolutely
it definitely would have been
mind blowing if we didn't know. But because we've had all these rumors and everybody's been speculating and everything, it made it less exciting.
No, it definitely did.
And it really, I think it hurt the element of surprise and everything. But
yeah,
nonetheless, we're getting Ahsoka. I don't think she's going to come in until the end of the season. I very much feel the rest of the season could be Mando trying to find Ahsoka.
I think a lot of people were speculating that she was going to come in episode 5.
Because that's the one Dave Filoni wrote. Which makes a lot of sense because that's basically Dave Filoni's character. Right. That's like his baby.
Yeah.
So of course, but so he's definitely going to have control over live action. But he is directing, or I don't know. No, I think he's writing the next episode, but he's directing the 5th one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something like that.
Regardless, he will have control over Ahsoka.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But in my head, I guess I just think I could very well see the rest of the season being Mando trying to find Ahsoka. I definitely don't think she's not going to be in next episode.
That would be ridiculous.
They're definitely going to build the tension.
They have to.
They're going to build the suspense. There's no way that they're just going to throw Ahsoka
that's what
in the
they
next
should
episode.
do. It should be they find her at the last episode
because she's such a big character too.
Yeah,
she's worthy of being a season finale sort of
she definitely
introduction. What are your thoughts on live action Ahsoka? I think we've already talked about it on the podcast before, but
I'm terrified and excited at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more terrified, to be honest with you, because I love Ahsoka so much. And one, the person they cast is not the person that voices her.
Yep.
And two, like we said earlier, she's not a human. So bringing her into live action is going to be different. Because we don't know how it's going to look, how good it's going to look, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they're going to probably pull it off pretty good.
It's going to be weird.
I'm hoping so much. Like, I'm sorry for whoever the person that's casted, because I don't know what her name is.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, like, I'm sure she would probably be a fine Ahsoka, but I really want them to dub her voiceover with the actual Ahsoka.
It's just, at that point, if they can't match it perfectly, it's going to look weird.
It's going to,
But we've seen voice dubs before with Darth Maul, but because obviously Sam Witwer did the voice in Solo for Darth Maul, as Ray Park played the actual body, but that was over a choppy hologram, so you didn't have to match it perfect. But if you actually have the character,
but I mean, not like with Ahsoka's mannerisms and how she talks into Rebels, like because she's a little bit more slower, you know, she's more mature, she's grown up. I think it'd be a little bit more easier to dub her over. And I mean, there's still ways you can do it where you dub her over and like it's not, you're not necessarily seeing her face, you know? Like maybe like you see her for a second, she starts talking and then goes to a flashback. She's talking over the entire flashback, but you don't actually see her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's definitely ways they could get away with doing it.
It's going to be weird.
I'm not gonna like it if it's not her voice. Like I'm just not gonna, and it probably won't be.
Yeah,
but
well, I don't know. Ashley Eckstein, who is the voice of Ahsoka, she's kind of been everywhere lately, like all over social media and everything. So I don't. Maybe that means something. Maybe it doesn't.
I just really hope it is because I love Ahsoka so much.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat of cautiously optimistic.
That's what it is. Very cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird. So then the end of the episode is just Mando off to find Ahsoka.
Picking up Baby Yoda.
But another thing is why I don't think we're gonna see her to the end of the season too is you didn't watch the trailer, but obviously Cara Dune is still in the show. Mm-hmm. Grief Karga still in the show.
Right.
Moff Gideon's still in the show. We're 3 episodes in. We haven't seen any of these characters yet, except for the Moff Gideon hologram. So
I mean, they're gonna come back in it.
Yeah.
At some point.
They need their episodes to shine.
Yeah, I need my Cara Dune.
Yeah.
I love Cara Dune.
If you're interested, they are selling the Cara Dune Black Series credit collection at Target. It's a Target exclusive. Last time I was there, they had so many of them on the pegs, but it's based off her appearance in the concept art, like at the end of the credits. So the paint apps on the figure are a little bit different, and she's got a hint of pink in her hair. It was a cool figure though.
Yeah, I do want a Cara Dune figure probably, or Funko Pop, something of Cara Dune.
Yeah, we know you love your Cara Dune.
Love my Cara Dune. Love my Ahsoka.
Yep. Love my Cobb Vanth. 100% Cobb Vanth. My two of my new favorite Star Wars characters are Cobb Vanth and Snap Wexley.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been watching my TikToks, but I've been very much advocating for Snap Wexley. I'm a Snap Wexley stan. He's my favorite side character, unless you consider Boba Fett a side character. Snap Wexley is my favorite side character in Star Wars.
I would consider Boba a side character.
Okay, well then Snap Wexley is my second favorite side character in Star Wars. But I got a Snap Wexley. I'll show you after this. It's what I made a TikTok today about. I got a Snap Wexley Micro Fighter X-Wing Lego set thing. And and we just not he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, man. And I started the hashtag Snap Deserve Better on TikTok, and I'm just trying to advocate for Snap Wexley rights. So, so we stay on Snap Wexley.
What's the time at?
Hour 24.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up.
Just making sure.
Let's wrap it up. Oh, did you mean like what time? It's 5:38.
Oh, yeah.
And it's pitch black dark outside.
Yeah. That's why I was asking. I saw it was pitch black.
Yeah.
Because the only reason why I'm asking
that's
is
weird.
I have a meeting at work.
Literally, like I get done at work at like 5 o'clock now at the golf course because it's dark then.
No, yeah. See, I work at the car wash, and yeah, it's pitch black right now, and we're open till we used to be open till 7:30. Now we're only open till 7. But literally, as soon as it's dark, we might get maybe 5 cars, maybe, and those last like 2 hours. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
so do you have any predictions of what the rest of the season's going to entail?
Didn't you want to talk about? You said that there was an importance with one of the little hatchlings, like hatching.
Oh yeah, it's just a little side thing.
Yeah.
So we see Baby Yoda watch the egg hatch.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I don't think he's going to have that appetite for eggs anymore, because I think it's symbolic, because he was eaten this episode. And now that he's been eaten, he knows, oh, well, maybe that's not the best thing to be doing that. So it's character development at its finest.
Yeah.
Once he realized that how dumb or how not fun being eaten is, he might correct the error of his ways.
Maybe. We'll see.
Who knows? You got any predictions of where the rest of the season is going to go?
I definitely agree with you with the Ahsoka should be final episode. That should how the rest of the season should play out, is him trying to find Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Prediction wise is though, I don't really know.
I don't got any. I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm waiting to see.
I'm
Cara
ready.
And
You know what I'm excited to see? It's those scout troopers on those speeder bikes, because I pre-ordered. They released a Black Series version of that of a scout trooper on a speeder bike from the Mandalorian, the white speeder bike. I pre-ordered it. It's coming in the mail in January, so I'm excited to see that. That foot drag. You didn't watch the trailer, but there's a part where one of the scout troopers turns his bike super quick, and he does a foot drag to turn it. It's just the
okay. I
coolest
remember you talking about a foot drag, but you never explained it to me, and I never watched the trailer. So I was like, "What are you?"
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Okay.
It's the coolest part of the trailer by far. So excited to see that. But yeah, I'm just ready to go with the flow. I've been enjoying season 2 so much. I think it's some of the best Star Wars content that's out there, and it's incredible. It's blowing me away every episode.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I agree though. But one thing with the predictions is this is a spoiler for Rebels if you guys haven't seen it yet. At the end of Rebels, Ahsoka and Sabine go to try and find Ezra. So, I mean, there could be a possibility we could see either Ezra and Sabine, or one of them.
Well, I think if we see Ahsoka, we're going to see Sabine as well.
I really hope so, because I loved Sabine.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see.
I do wonder if Ezra will be, or they'll tie it in Rebels at all.
Yeah,
with
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It would
to
be
see.
interesting. Yeah.
I just wish we didn't know about any of these characters.
No, so do I.
Because that makes it less fun.
Because that's what was so good about season 1, is it just was like, bam, here's stuff you don't know.
And that's what
anything
made the
happening.
child so surprising too,
Yeah.
because they didn't include any of it in the marketing and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But now we have rumors of all these characters coming back, and it's like, well, that ruins the surprise.
Yeah.
That ruins the excitement. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it this far in the episode, what we like to do is if you're watching on YouTube, go down to the comments, and we like to have a hashtag to comment so we know you made it all the way to the end. What should the hashtag?
I don't know how it should end, but it's definitely something with Frog Lady.
Frog Lady deserved better?
I don't necessarily, because I don't think deserved better, because like she was fine, you know.
Stan Frog Lady?
Stand Frog Lady?
Stan, S-T-A-N. Like super fan, like Stan.
Yeah.
Or unless you can think of anything better. I'm thinking either Frog Lady deserved better, Frog Lady rights, or
Frog Lady rights.
Justice for Frog Lady.
We love Frog Lady.
We love Frog Lady. Stan Frog Lady. Wholesome Frog Lady.
Frog Lady Love.
Frog Lady Love. Frog Lady Life.
I kind of like Frog Lady Love, honestly.
Okay, we'll rock with that then.
Frog
So if
Lady
you're watching
Love.
on YouTube, drop hashtag Frog Lady Love in the comments so we know you made it this far. We appreciate each and every one of you
Yes,
for
we
listening.
do.
Honestly, it means the world to us. We have so much fun doing this. If you hear and you want to follow us on our socials, you can find us on Instagram at Live at the Cantina. Also follow my TikTok if you're not already at Kev20_. Creeping up on 2,300 followers, so that's
Nice.
exciting.
Nice.
Definitely way more than I ever thought I would have. So I'm very thankful for that. And then obviously you can find our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. So that's going to do it for this episode of Live at the Cantina. I am Kevin.
I'm Noah.
Thank you for listening, and
Yeah,
may
thank
the
you so
force be
much.
with you. This is the way.
This is the way.